In this video, Chewy and I are going to talk about our 8 favorite SEO tools that we're using regularly. Isn't that right, buddy? All right, let's get into it, okay? Number 1, Chewy, what's number 1? Nothing, okay. Number 1, guys, is obviously Ahrefs. I talk about Ahrefs all the time. I'm a massive fan of Ahrefs, and really, it's kind of a disservice almost just to say Ahrefs, because Ahrefs have so many kind of cool features within there, right? So obviously, the main one you're using is within the Site Explorer. They have numerous tools, I guess you could say, or features within there. So you can look at obviously the backlinks, which is a nice easy one. I like to look at the link movement here. We use this for doing keyword cannibalization checks. You can look at the organic keywords that the site is ranking for. You can also do all sorts of filters and everything within this. You can look at the new internal links feature, which is really cool. And it's really like I could talk all day on that. There's tons and tons of features in Ahrefs. You also have the Keyword Explorer and everything else. Ahrefs is an incredible tool, and really, I just don't understand why SEOs don't use it. So I know there is alternatives, there is SEMrush, and that's pretty much it. Let's not really call the others alternatives, they're not really equal. But Ahrefs is, in my own experience, my favorite one. It probably could just be, at this point, I haven't used the other tools in like over a year, so it could just be that I'm used to it. But honestly, I really can't recommend Ahrefs enough. And I know people say it's expensive, and it's just not. I mean, I could do a whole video ranting about this. It's just not. If you look at what it costs for a real, I would say real traditional business, brick and mortar business, in terms of buying or renting a premises to do business, to have like company vehicles, company vans and stock and everything like that, and then you're complaining that Ahrefs, which the light version is what, like $80 a month? You can like $80 a month, are you kidding me? It's expensive? It's nothing. It's so insignificant. It's just so cheap, like most of the tools I'm going to talk about here. So really just buy it. And if you are new and you can't afford it, then go get a job, get an income, and then use the money to do so. And do what you can before you can afford it, right? If you can't afford it, get the $7 trial or use free alternatives just for practice. But if you're taking this seriously, and you want to build a business, you want to build an income via SEO, then just buy Ahrefs, okay? Moving on. Chewy, what's number 2? Good boy. Okay, number 2 is Surfer. Surfer is an awesome tool. I've been kind of raving about it for the past several videos at this point. But Surfer is amazing for content optimization. Now, what is Surfer if you don't know? Surfer essentially tells you how to optimize your content by looking at, I don't know, a couple hundred, few hundred ranking factors, however many, a lot of ranking factors, and it looks at those ranking factors, it looks at your competitors against those ranking factors and tells you, okay, here's what to do based on those competitors looked at these ranking factors. So what does that mean? It means that they tell you, okay, on average, your competitors include this exact keyword 5 times on the page for your keyword, because every keyword is different. They tell you that you should have these words, these phrases on your page to hit topical relevance. And a short and simple answer is they just tell you how to optimize your content. Done. They look at your competitors, they look at them against ranking factors, and they tell you, here's exactly how to optimize your content. They make it super, super easy. I use both Surfer's audit tool and Surfer's content editor tool to write the content if I don't already have it, and that just makes it easy. And also makes it easy for my team because it's so easy to understand. It's such a beautiful interface. It's so easy to use that I don't have to actually go in there myself and use it. So that is number 2. That is Surfer. Number 3. Tool number 3 has got to be Google Search Console. This really should be in every SEO's arsenal. It's a great tool, and it just gives you a ton of data. So I don't actually use the Google Search Console so much. Usually what we're doing is we're exporting this and looking at this in a spreadsheet. But the point is, Google Search Console is extremely effective at giving you a ton of information. It gives you the impressions for every page, so you can sort by, prioritize by impressions. It gives you all sorts of information about how your website is being crawled and everything like that. It's just a good tool, so use it, okay? And that's it, simple. Use Google Search Console. It's free. Set up for your site. Even if you don't know how to use it, watch some videos later on how to use it, but set it up now, because if you hire someone like me, I want Google Search Console access, and if I have to set it up myself and wait for the data to add it to it, it just sucks. Okay, so set up Google Search Console today, and then understand, kind of learn how to use it, because a lot of data in there is very, very useful. It's very, very effective when you know how to use that. Moving on to number 4, Google Analytics. Again, data analysis is actually a huge part of how we're doing SEO today. So if we can look at analytics, we can look at which pages people are landing on, we can look at how long they're spending on those pages, and we can use all this information. We can look at how many visitors are mobile versus desktop. All of this influences our SEO campaigns. So again, just make sure you have this set up. This is a very simple one, but I want to do this video about tools that we're constantly using. My favorite tools we constantly use in our SEO campaigns. And again, Google Analytics just has to be in there for this to be accurate. Now, number 5, we're going to something more technical, and that is Screaming Frog. And Screaming Frog is basically a crawler. So you can use that tool and you can crawl your own website. Now here's some good news. Screaming Frog is free up to, I think, 500 URLs. It could be wrong on that. So it's free for you smaller sites out there, you smaller site owners out there. And what Screaming Frog will do is it will crawl your whole website. It will give you a list of all, say, your title tags, give you a list of all your alt text for your images, your meta descriptions, your canonical URLs, your redirects, the whole works. It basically just crawls your whole site. You can combine this with the data from Google Search Console and Google Analytics, and this is basically what our audit is. Our audit is simply combining all this information so we can go through all our pages and see all of this information. So Screaming Frog is another great tool that we use for every single one of our websites and every single one of our clients. For number 6, I thought I'd share something that we started using pretty recently, but is a pretty cool tool that most people won't know, and that is Keyword Cupid. Now, Keyword Cupid basically allows us to use all the keyword information that we export out of Ahrefs, and it automatically creates page structures out of this. So it tells us on this page about this theme, here's all the keywords you want to rank for. On this other page, on this other theme, here's all the keywords you want to rank for. Normally, we would download a list of, say, 3,000 keywords, then we'd go through every single one of them, and we say, okay, this one is on this page, this one is on this page, this one is on this page. And we do this manually. It's called keyword mapping. It would take hours upon hours upon hours. Thankfully, I didn't do it. I had a VA do it, but it doesn't matter. It was a lot of work. Or you run it in Keyword Cupid. It takes maybe 3 hours, and then it just spits out a report, and it's all done for you. So it's another great tool that I recommend you guys check it out. Number 7 is kind of a cop-out answer, but honestly, I just wanted to throw it in there because it's so powerful. We know how to use it, and that is Google Sheets. I mentioned previously that our technical audit process, even our on-page audit, our site-wide on-page audit, is basically exporting from Google Search Console, Screaming Frog, and Google Analytics, combining all this together into one single sheet so we can look at the URL and all the factors that go into it, whether it's like the title tag and stuff like that. We can look at all these different factors for each URL on our website. Obviously, when you get into the e-commerce game, that's 10,000 pages. It gets a little bit more complicated. Well, we do all of this, we process all of this inside of Google Sheets. It is absolutely incredible for just analyzing all your different data points and things like this. It's just so good. And then when you combine this, and by the way, use formulas and stuff like that, you got to learn how to do all this stuff. But when you do know how to do this stuff, it is absolutely amazing. And then you combine this, if you're doing reports or anything like that, with Data Studio, Google Data Studio, and it is so cool, at least from a weird nerd's perspective. Nonetheless, Google Data Studio and Google Sheets are two kind of bonus. We'll include them together as one single number 7 there, but they're two amazingly effective and powerful tools that you really should be using if you're doing SEO. And the reason I prefer Google Sheets over Excel is because I just like the collaboration. It makes things really easy. Plus you get add-ons like Google Scripts, which just extends that functionality even further. I'm just a fan. And the final one, number 8, isn't really a tool, but it's just custom bookmarklets in general. So I'm not a fan of bloating my browser and having all these extra extensions and stuff like that on it. So what I usually do for a lot of stuff is I have Alfred on my computer as a Mac user, so I can basically just grab any URL and check it on Ahrefs and stuff. very, very quickly, very easily with an Alfred custom query or whatever you call it, or custom workflow. But also, what I can also do is use bookmarklets. So I can go onto a site, I can click onto my little orders bookmarklet group and click title tag, and it tells me the title tag and meta description. Right, I can click canonical URL and grab the canonical URL if the page has one. I can click index check and it tells me if the page is set to no index or not. So just these little things like that allow me to very, very quickly check different elements on the page without having to go into the source code. Because when you're doing video orders or quick checks like that, then it's quicker to click a link and it just pops up and tells you the title tag, and it is to view source, search title, and go in there and check it. So it just makes things a little bit quicker. And if you guys are interested, I can share the ones that I'm using. They're really, really simple. It's nothing really complicated in terms of code. I think I just copied them from elsewhere anyway for most of them. So I'm happy to share them, but it just makes auditing sites a little bit easier. But anyway, that is my 8 favorite SEO tools that I'm using regularly. If you like this video, do me a favor, click that like button. Should we tell them? Click the like button, click the like button, click the like button. Yeah. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video, and I apologize for how noisy and stuff my dogs are in this video, but oh well, it was fun nonetheless.